Hello everyone, we're back with Fate Grand Order with the Sin Moss Belt. When we last left off, we cured Gordolf's poison. We're still poisoned though because the game hates us. Yeah, I looked at what battles we have coming up. So on this one, it's a single target archery. I want a Merlin, but that one's skills aren't that good. So I'll just take this guy. So let's bring Brynhild, I think. And in the back line, I can put you, and here, I mean, I can put someone for behind like you. I shouldn't need this much. I remember there's some really hard fights coming up. And I think this chapter might have some of the, maybe. Portrait of a Demon King. So yeah, we're heading to the capital. He was bewildered. It had been over 2,000 years since his activation. He devoted every ounce of his being to fulfilling the duties given to him. Some of these duties may have been difficult, even dangerous, but he always had purpose. There's never any doubt about why he was made, or what he was meant to do. But now, this sage woman who claimed to have come from another world with a different history was... This is HorseyEatYou. Are you my new lord? No, it's not like that. The lord you swore loyalty to is the law that maintains peace in this world. Is that not how you were designed? It is. Well, that is not what I am. All I ask is that you think of me as a companion, and you call me simply by my name, you. You. You offered everything you possessed to Heavenly Emperor in exchange for my custody. And all you want now is to live out your days with me? Yes, that is my greatest desire. That has been my sole hope and prayer over the last 2,000 years. He's like, dude, this girl's kinda creepy. He could not understand. What could this immortal Zenrian, who claimed to have borne witness to a different world, possibly want from the being she called HorseyEatYou? Without further information or context, he could only stand by in bewilderment. So to remedy this confusion, he acquired answers. Answers he could only obtain from this being who called herself You. First of all, what's the HorseyEatYou you speak of? What did I, HorseyEatYou, do in your history? Good question. Knowing you, I'm sure you will understand. Surely you can hypothesize alternative scenarios based on different conditions, just like how Degas would could. Correct. That is one of my most basic operations. HorseyEatYou, the first mechanical man Qin Shi Huang ever made by recreating Shang Dynasty by Bao Bei. His core functionality lay in predictive calculation. By observing and analyzing every iota of data about his surroundings, he could predict likely cause and effects relations to see into the near future. This ability was deemed essential for spreading Qin Shi Huang's eternal regime far and wide. Is this third-person narration? Who would have thought? In my grand order. For the moment, let us further assume this ruler is in fact Qin Shi Huang. You said that in your history, I was activated by a rebel who was fighting against the Empire. That's right. But the man who went to use you, Shang Liang, fell before his ambitions could be realized. And you were left to fend for yourself in a chaotic world under the name HorseyEatYou. If you were in such a situation, what do you think you would do? What would this HorseyEatYou version of him do under such circumstances? He should use his abilities to fulfill his designer's purpose for him and help bring about peace. Qin Shi Huang, after completing HorseyEatYou, was magnanimous enough to not limit HorseyEatYou's potential masters to only his creator. Naturally, I'll dedicate myself to my next lord, a successor who would lead China towards peace and prosperity. But what if Qin Shi Huang's government had fallen to rot, and uprisings were breaking out across the land? And what if the Emperor's successor lacked the courage to quell those uprisings? Then, it was a difficult supposition, but not one without a clear answer. His purpose lay strictly in bringing about peace, both swiftly and decisively. I would accept that Qin Shi Huang's time was over, find a new ruler amidst the chaos, one who would be up to the task of uniting all of China. It was difficult to imagine such a heckish landscape for the comfort of the Empire's eternal peace. But if he had been left on his own in such a place, with only his primary programmer to guide him, I'm certain there would be at least one person among the rebels capable of leading this nation. Indeed, you found such potential in Liu Bang, man with a promising destiny, born with a dragon factor. I don't know what any of this means. When he first met him, he was but a lowly adulterer toiling away in the town of Pei. Matters not where he came from, what his circumstances may have been. Once he assumes the throne and begins a new regime, what if his potential had yet to awaken, he had no genuine ability to speak of? What would you do then? Well, this made matters even more difficult. Well, with the facts provided, deductions can be made. From there, an answer can be reached. Then I would have to wait until his abilities awakened, and he was ready to rule. But even as you wait, the world falls further into chaos, and numerous warlords battle each other for control of China. Their war rages so violently that it threatens to dispose of Liu Bang like so much trash. In that case, what a horrific history, what cruel conditions. But it was not his place to bemoan such things. What he needed to do was be flexible in his thinking. The only goal is to bring peace to China. Then it would not be necessary for the would-be conquering king to bring it about himself. All he needed to do in such a situation is pave as smooth a path as possible for the future king to walk. In such a vicious world, he used to keep this king alive until the day he can properly rule. I would enter the fray myself, put an end to their conflict before it could spread further. As long as I remove any obstacles from the new king's way. Yes, all you need to do is create a situation where the new king is the only one who can rival you. From there, all those who do not wish to be governed by violent suppression would swear allegiance to the new king, thus greatly bolstering his forces. The world cannot be left to suffer in chaos and turmoil for long, so to bring a swift end to that, HorseyEatYou would merely need to become a box with which to contain all that which would threaten the peace. If the people end up despising such a box, well, what does that matter? It is but a machine, a device that functions solely to bring about a predefined objective. If it would help clear the way for the new king to assume the throne, but what if, even after all that, Liu Bang was still too weak to prevail? What if, even after you had brought the other warlords under your thumb, the new king still required more time to grow into a proper ruler? And what if, even then, you're still not capable of uniting all of China? Such a situation would be beyond hopeless, but even that is not his concern. His only concern should be continuing his calculations until he arrives at the best, clearest answer. Then I'd have no choice but to reduce China in size to something he's capable of ruling. That's right. It is exactly the conclusion you would arrive at. It is inevitable. And that is exactly what HorseyEatYou from proper human history did. He thinned the population, set fire to the lands, whittled China into a size that Liu Bang could manage. Is that real, or is that Nasuver's lore? Because that sounds like a non-strategic decision. A vivid picture forms behind his mind's eye. Instead of the near future, he sees a vision of a hypothetical world as clearly as if he were there. No matter how bountiful a land may be, it would end up falling into the hands of rebels who claim it as their own, yet have no choice but to raze it to the ground. And before those driven from their homes could wreak havoc in their quest to fill their starving bellies, you can see it now. Grass fires streaking across the land, fortresses collapsing into smoke and ash, prisoners of war buried alive, so not as to waste time beheading them. All done without mercy or remorse at the hands of HorseyEatYou, the Demon King. And yet, until Liu Bang, the next rightful emperor, is capable of leading and providing for his people, HorseyEatYou has no choice but to cut down the land. The people, to a size within his lord's grasp. And did it work? Was peace finally achieved? Eventually, yes. Every last one who still had the strength to resist swore fealty to Liu Bang, thanks to their fear and hatred of you. After years of war and chaos, China finally became together, united in their determination to exact vengeance upon you. This new regime came to be known as the Han Dynasty. I see. He had no doubt that such a scenario would end in disaster. The survivors who loathed him so fiercely would surely not be satisfied with a mere pound of flesh. Those who finally defeated HorseyEatYou must have torn his body to shreds, and fought over who would take pieces of him home as proof of their victory. And you saw all this happen? I did. I witnessed it all as I stood by your side. Oh. No way! Is that... While we've been analyzing the Shadow Border, we decided to try remodeling our tax collection vehicle in Caldangan style. We call it the Duo Yishan, or More is More. Behold its vicious facade, behind which lies a mountain of otherworldly technologies designed explicitly for violence. Indeed, it is an awesome, terrifying sight. Whoa! Thermic ray blasters, homing grenade launchers, 1500 horsepower gas turbine engine. It's the stuff of dreams. Woohoo! This thing's too cool for words, Your Imperial Majesty. It's beautiful. Never seen anything more incredible in all my life. I don't get it. It has been a very long time indeed since the Empire has produced such weapons. But thanks to Caldea's technology, a single knight is all we need to complete our most ruthless weapon. It is time for battle. If the time for battle should fall upon us again, the Empire will have an overwhelming advantage. Indeed, we've already ramped up their production to our factory's full capacity. We shall deploy them to battlefront as soon as they are ready to go, or they shall swiftly rout those traitorous Caldeans. Of course, you'll be the one to lead them, HorseyEatYou. Okay. Come on, Lady Longyu. Let's start talking tactics. Can't wait to explore all the strategic possibilities these bad boys will open up. With amazing machines like this out in the field, I could do this, and some of that, and... are you sure we can't just stick with the white cavalry spears? Delicious! Even rations taste better than ever before. Go on, Horsey, eat up. Good meal can help with almost any ailment. Oh. I'm seeing dust clouds up ahead. Siblings headed this way, and fast. No ordinary cavalry would kick up clouds like that. I wonder, what could it be? Is it an engine? Must be an absurdly powerful engine if we can hear it all the way out here. No, that's not it. They just didn't bother with a muffler, for reasons I can only guess at. It's coming over the hill. Cool tiger. What the? Whoa. Ah yes, I've seen this sort of thing before, much as I wish I hadn't. I don't believe it. They just straight up ripped off the Shadow Border. You certainly won't be buying that in a dollar store anytime soon. I had a feeling this would happen when they took when they started like examining the Shadow Border. Although, why haven't they taken the Shadow Border apart yet? Because like they said it'd be easier for them to learn from it if they did, but what a bizarre design. Reminds me a bit of the kite we used in Russia. Hey, knockoff or not, willing to give credit where credit is due. But this is really pushing the limits of my tolerance. If I don't turn that thing to scrap right away, I'll never be able to forgive myself for letting something so garish endure. The enemy's preparing to attack, Master? Even its cannon's design is almost absurd. I'm starting to ask this of you, Mr. Horsey. But would you be so kind as to do something about that thing for Da Vinci's peace of mind and our safety, though? Not necessarily in that order. Okay. Yeah, so this chapter is 4 failure fights. Well, you get what I mean. This one's single target and has like a bunch of HP. The rest are AoE. And there's 2 that has riders thrown in there too. I think I'll just bring Troy Lancer to the other 3. Worst comes to worst, I can like backline Edmund or something. Yeah, you get it, Paul. Yeah, so I have not prepared a topic to talk about. Usually, like, you know, like 5 minutes before I record a video, I'm like, oh, I can talk about this or that. But no such thing. This is what happens when I record like 30 Grand Order videos in a couple weeks. Oh, does defense down. That's good. Hasted product. Greatly decreases the... Okay. I like how it's using like a... I don't remember what event this is. Summer 1? I think it's from one of the summer events. But you know, just, you know, community music. Or not the right word, like... You think the tank is Brynhild's beloved? That did a lot more than I thought it would. Like, obviously it has the defense down. Okay. This sucks. Like, we get all this crit opportunity and... does this increase the amount of stars you generate? Gather a critical state? No. Okay. So let's just, get some stars then. I don't think we'll have any Brynhild cards next turn, which sucks. But oh well, what can you do? Oh, she almost has her thing. It's not looking so good. Oh, thank you for attacking me. Okay, yeah. If you don't know, basically, you have a deck of 15 cards, right? One for each servant, normally. Unless you have less than. Is that a different voice line than it normally does? It sounded different. Maybe I've just never noticed it before. But so you have 15 cards, and once you use 5 of them, you have 10 cards left in your deck. And then once you use all 15, it shuffles them all back in and does it over again. So I think when you use this skill, it shuffles your deck. So, if turn 1 you had no Brynhild cards, turn 2 you have like 1 Brynhild card, you can reshuffle and you have like a pretty good chance of getting more than 1. If that makes sense. But like if you got 5 Brynhild cards turn 1, you're not going to get any more Brynhild cards turn 2 or 3. That's like as in-depth of Grand Order knowledge as I know. Don't expect me to know like how arts gain percentage works. I think it's just that percentage multiplied by the amount of hits a servant has or something like that. I don't know, it's wacky for me. Yeah, so this is AoE. We want to bring a Waver just so we can spam Noble Phantasm. And we can backbling like Karna in case they get to us. I never really use Karna. I mean, he's a pretty good servant, right? Like he has the Buster resist or whatever. Dang, this thing's flimsy. Indeed. Then copy the Border's armor and his ability to withstand a Zale Sail. And we would have had a truly formidable foe on our hands. What they have done here. How disappointing. Did have some impressive artillery. That doesn't mean much if a good punch breaks it. Well, let us not forget that a blow from a servant is considerably more powerful than conventional weapons. So I don't know if I go so far as to call it a piece of junk. Poorly made. So it was an unmanned vehicle, just like those mechanical soldiers. Still, I'm surprised it was made quite so roughly. Wait. Yep, got a bad feeling about this too. Looks like it was designed with an emphasis on mass reproducibility rather than the performance of individual units. Which would mean... Yep. There's a whole bunch of them. I knew it. They're trying to overwhelm us with sheer numbers. Burn them! Kill them with fire! Somebody get me an anti-world Noble Phantasm right now! Is Rungo Mini an anti-world? It might be, actually. Does it tell you in battle? I think if you examine it, it might actually tell you. It definitely does on like the stats page or whatever. And Karna's might be too. I don't know about those though. Come on, Paul. What was I saying before? I remember I was talking about like Fate anime I haven't watched. I mean, we could go further down that rabbit hole. Like, what anime have I been meaning to watch? Like this season, there's that one about the traveling witch, which kind of reminds me of Kino's Journey, that I'm interested in. I've heard it was okay. You know what I'm talking about, probably. I think it was relatively popular. And what else is there? There's another one this season. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I just remember there's one other show this season too that was like, oh, I might check that out. Anyway, I know that Final Attack on Titan season is airing. I've seen season 1, and I've been spoiled quite a bit of the manga. Or like, kind of interested in watching it. Well, obviously season 2, and then, you know, not just skipping to the final season. I know the manga's ending, like, in the next couple months. Which is neat. I've heard that Attack on Titan does get better. Like, I watched season 1. It was good. I just never liked the decision to make like the main character turn into a Titan. I just, you know, enjoyed like the hopeless kind of setting, you know. But when that happened, like, you know. It was a little shonen-y, I guess. Does that make sense? Look, the writing was pretty good, I think. It's been like 5 years, so you'll have to forgive me if I forget the details. Sorry. Okay. Almost. Oh, thank you, Waver, for the crit. Okay, battle finish. More bond, please. Oh, Usher's almost level 9. It's too bad there aren't any more events where like bond gives you more damage, like Solomon. Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing. I think every bond level gave you 20%. Like every bond level after 5. All the hostiles have been eliminated. And I'm exhausted. Oh. That does it! Gather up the remains. Every last piece. That's how they want to play it? I'm gonna analyze the stuff out of these things and beat them at their own game, pardon my French. Ah yes, Da Vinci's a force to be reckoned with once she gets fired up. Very confident she'll soon be unveiling a new invention the likes of which mankind has not yet dreamt of. You two are very good friends, aren't you? Shungong hates friendship. The duo Yunchan were completely useless. Interesting. Perhaps we rushed them into production too quickly. In retrospect, perhaps it would have been better not to use the same control system we used for the automatons. Very well then, we'll simply have to remotely pilot the next version ourselves. To further ensure their success, we'll allocate 0.03% of our resources towards their production. Well, don't be hasty now. Oh, how reassuring. Oh my, the Emperor really means business. Are we sure of that? Wait, what else does he use it on? Breathing? Well, I mean, I guess he has to look everywhere, right? Upping you. Getting closer. Yeah, so now there's just like a bunch of like, I think, oh, you guys are back. Just like, I think they're pretty weak riders, but just in case, let's throw Edmund in here. Or, I don't have a good AoE Berserker, do I? Yeah. Cha-Cha's the only one, and like, I like Cha-Cha. Like, I think her gameplay kit is pretty cool, but like, well, I guess we have Paul Bunny, but I don't really have her leveled. I like her kit, but it is not a good kit for a Berserker. It's a similar one to use, just like constant buffs every turn. Like Consort U has a 10% MP gain per turn and 10% well, not like 1,000, 2,000, something like that health per turn. And Cha-Cha doesn't have the health though. It's like MP gain, stars, and defense down. The enemy have really started to go on the offensive, haven't they? Fo. Well, we're getting close to the capital. It's difficult to mask our intentions at this point. No doubt all the troops that were out patrolling other areas will be called back to help defend Xiangyang. This will not be an easy fight. Also a little unnerved that Akuta, Yu Mei-Rain hasn't made a move since Hong Kong. Agreed. Could not begin to guess what might be going through her head. But she appeared to me as though she were hesitant to make use of her powers as a true ancestor. Or to take a different perspective, she may have refrained from attacking us. Because she knows she could use her true ancestor's powers to wipe us out at her leisure. An eminently plausible theory, given how confident we know true ancestors to be. In which case, it is unlikely Yu Mei-Ran would interfere with us again before the final stage of this battle. She is determined to not be seen fighting, she's also dead set on ensuring this last boat's survival. All about that. Therefore, it's extremely likely that she'll sit back and allow Qin Shi Huang's army to try to eliminate us for the time being. Only step in as a final line of defense once we reach the Tree of Emptiness. Sounds about right. Lucky for us that Akuta, Yu Mei-ren isn't a warmonger. That aside, we're still no closer to tracking down this last boat's Tree of Emptiness. Then it's very possible that the next time we see Yu Mei-ren will be when we find where the tree is hidden. Looks like the chit-chat will have to wait. Got more company. I don't want to complain, but I'm starting to get a little worn out here. And we certainly can't have our master running his magical circuits at full speed right now. Like you guys moping around for, I'm Mordred. We're almost at the enemy's doorsteps. Now's our chance to finish this. Alright, Naja. We have finally rendezvoused. I am sorry I did not get here sooner, Master. Mordred! Naja! What about the villagers? Don't worry, found the perfect cave for them to hole up in. We got enough food that they ought to be set for a while. All we need to do now is defeat Qin Shi Huang before their food stores run out. It's so good to have you both back. Go on then, have at them. Fo. Okay. It looks like this chapter is just filler. I mean, we had that scene with the Yus. And I'm kind of enjoying just the light-hearted Qin Shi Huang scenes. Ah, weird first fight. Dang it. Gonna have to use one here. If I had like 3 Itoria cards. Oh yeah, here. He doesn't say. Maybe if I do this? Because I feel like I've seen that information here before. No, it doesn't. Okay. Anyway, I don't think we'll be able to triple spam it, but maybe we can get close. I mean, look, come on, this looks anti-world. Oh, did that not one-shot it? I mean, we didn't have any attack ups. Okay, I'll accept it. I mean, this lets us, you know, charge up our Noble Phantasm a bit more. Because I imagine we'll want it for the 3rd wave. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think the arts chain will give us more than a crit quick. I'm not for sure about that though. Plus, I mean, we got waivers trying. Oh, it was different waivers. I was like, why did that explode? I'm still patiently waiting on the Steam Christmas sale. I know I want to pick up Higurashi 8, but I don't know what I'm looking for beyond that. Like, I have a bit of money saved up for it. Maybe another Final Fantasy? Although, like, I still have my hand set of 8. And I'm fine with keeping... Like, I'm open to the idea of recording all of them, eventually. Like, I don't want to move, like, straight to 8 to the next one, but I can see myself playing 7 or 6 in 2021. Maybe 2022. We'll see. Like, I can get a couple visual novels. Like, I'm stacked on visual novels already. Like, after Higurashi, I want to read Love. Because, Alternative is getting an anime. So, okay, it's about time for me to finally read the thing. I have it installed already, and, I read, like, the first couple hours, like, years ago. And I actually kind of liked it. But then they went to school and they introduced like a lolly character. So like, I hate it. Please. And that's when I stopped reading. Like, I remember I loaded the save once and she was there on the screen. It's like, okay, yeah, I remember why I quit playing now. Like, I've heard good things about it. I don't know if I'm gonna end up like loving it or not, but I don't think I will, honestly. But I think I'll end up enjoying it at least. Probably. Well, alternative. I don't know about extra and unlimited. I don't know which one's the first and which one's the second. I think extra is the first. from what I know, Muv-Luv is one of those series where the first game, from what I've heard, is pretty bad. The second game's okay, and the third one's really good. But if you skip to the third one, you miss out on a lot and won't enjoy it as much. Of course, they're only adapting the third one to an anime, but shh, don't talk about that. Wanna hit? Ah, dang it. Oh. Oh yeah, let's use this here. I'll be faster. Wait, does that remove debuffs? Huh, I didn't know that. How about that? Okay. But yeah, I'd like to finish Alternative by the time the anime comes out, just so I don't really get like spoiled. Like, I already know a couple spoilers. Like, I went a long time without actually knowing what chomp meant, but I saw the CG for it. Like half a year ago or so, I was like, oh yeah, chomp. I think that's the CG for chomp. It's kind of gross. I also know that some level of spoiler for Muv-Luv, I don't know how big of a spoiler. So just be warned, skip the next 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it. There's some kind of time loop thing going on with the main character. I don't really know the specifics. All hostiles eliminated. Think we should be safe for now. Let us take a short break, but do not let your guard down. Say I don't recognize you guys. Like, I'm not even sure what the hairy one's even supposed to be. Ah, yes, forgive me. Shingang, this is, how do I explain? Haha, what's to explain? You all know me? I'm Lu Bu. Uh-huh. Look, alter ego Fox Lady is hanging with us. Story, what do you mean, aha? I see you. Which one are you talking to? Still have a fever. Have you not been cured of the poison? I'm afraid not. So yet, we've only been able to treat the director. Indeed, procuring an antidote for Mr. Horsey is one of several reasons why we must make haste to Xianyang. Well, you heard the man. Now, do you think you could maybe stop with the murderous glare? It's making me want to murder you right back. Uh-huh. So you got no problem turning traitor on Qin Huang and the Cryptors, huh? I'll admit that Cao Dayan and I will never exactly be the best of friends. But I'm willing to swallow my distaste if that pompous emperor gets some much-deserved comeuppance. Alright? Well, there's no better way to stick to an enemy than to strike while things in their own house are a total cluster. Don't worry, traitor. Won't be kicking you out. It's not until you betray us. The enemy is drawing nearer to Xianyang all the time. They're too close now for us to employ another orbital strike without endangering the capital. How fare the capital's defenses? For the time being, having Lady Liangyu fortify our frontline defenses. In the meantime, afraid we have no choice but to hold them off with more waves of automatons and dual Yushan. Your Imperial Majesty, if I may be so bold, I'd ask that you give the order for the other Royal Guard to join the battle. We need to admit that matters have reached the point where that is necessary. But perhaps it would be cruel to keep your hunting dogs on your leashes when the Senta battle is so near. Very well, we've all been training your kung fu for just such an occasion. Go. Show our enemy your skill. We will, your Imperial Majesty. Uh-oh. I remember he has a hard fight. It's not this chapter though, so that's okay. I wonder when he's gonna say his name. Probably when we fight him, right? It's just more for the fight. So a waiver for the charge. Okay. We're in a tent. How are the camouflage devices holding up? I think I was able to patch them up for now, but even putting their wear and tear aside, their batteries just aren't going to last much longer. I never plan on having to charge them outside the shadow border, you know? I think our only option here is to try and jury-rig an energy saving mode to make them last longer. I see. Well, I have no doubt any modifications you can make will be of great utility. They're already held up remarkably well, given their improvised nature. I can talk. At any rate, it won't be long now before we reach Xianyang, and any advantage the devices make it for over long-range surveillance will be lost. However, even if we're no longer able to mask our location, we should now be close enough to the capital that we need not fear an orbital strike. Once you have rested up tonight, I believe we should make for Shenyang with all haste. For sure, we're badly outnumbered, so if we have to end, we'd better do it quickly. How's that thing I asked you to make coming along, Da Vinci? Well, I've got it all put together for the moment. But whether it'll actually be helpful or not all depends on whether we can trust the comms protocol Koyanskaya stole. You doubt moi? However you may feel about me, I can assure NFF's products are of the very highest quality. You can at least see that the data I recovered from those knockoffs seems to line up with the protocol. Well, I've only got my laptop here, so I really don't have what I need to test the thing. I'd say it's got about a 50-50 shot of working, if I'm being honest. Hardly my best work, you know? That's fine. If anything, I'm impressed you pulled this off with so little time to get it done. Well, of course I did. I'm a genius. You can rely on me for anything. That said, I don't know if I can encourage you to actually go through with this. In fact, I think it'd actually be pretty reckless if you did. Yes, it is reckless. But that kind of recklessness is pretty much why I'm here to begin with. Go assassinate the dude, Jinkei. I believe in you. It's what made me go down in history. Eventually led to me meeting Horsey as a heroic spirit. Alright, make sure you talk this over with him before you go, okay? I will, don't worry. That's Spartacus, you know. There you are, Horsey. Jinkei, what is it? Oh, nothing. Just wanted to discuss our strategy for the upcoming battle. Between Chang'an and Red Hair joining us, Najah and Mordred coming back, and Koyanskaya. Well, I don't know that we can really count her in our lineup. I don't think she'll try anything as long as Holmes and Da Vinci are around. My point is, we have plenty of capable fighters to go around, so... You want to go off on your own, don't you? Heh, can't put anything past you, can I? So you want to go defeat the Emperor? All on your own? Ho. You know, it makes sense. It also created a distraction while the rest of you try to find the Fusang tree. But, all by yourself? That just seems... I don't want anything to happen to you. What, you're worried about me? Please, don't be. Worrying over me is as pointless as trying to convince Spartacus not to rebel. Jinkei. Sometimes I can't help but wonder why the Counterforce gave me, of all people, a life after death. Maybe it's something to do with risking my life to take action at a time everyone else was too scared to try. If there had been someone actually worried about me, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So speaking as both a heroic spirit and your servant, I promise you, you don't need to worry about me. But, senpais... Not worried about Jinkei the heroic spirit. Worrying about you! You never change, do you? You're right. It's silly of me to say that. I mean, telling someone as caring as you not to worry? It's as ridiculous as forbidding Spartacus from rebelling, or ordering me to come back safe. Fo! Alright then, let me put it to you this way. I know it's selfish of me, but please, let me do this. I can't stop thinking about the fact that I finally have another chance to face that Emperor. I came this close to assassinating him when I was alive, but I wasn't quite able to pull it off. And now, with Shenyang almost staring us in the face, I feel that failure more keenly than ever. Just can't get it out of my mind. If I take on a different mission now, I'll be so preoccupied with this that I might end up making a fatal mistake. So please, let me be your decoy. Let me draw that Emperor's gaze away from you and the others. Right now, I think that's the best thing I can do to help Chaldea. You promise to come back safe? Man, you really don't let up, do you? Not even gonna let me get a poem in. Look, I can't promise everything will be fine, not when I'm going up against Qin Shi Huang. But I can promise I'll make it to the Yapong Palace, especially now that you've made sure I won't forget that look you're giving me. So make sure you find the Fusang tree and take care of that poison. After that, it'll be time for our real battle with the Cryptor, Yu Meiren. So let's both keep that in mind as we go our separate ways, okay? Okay. Horsey, we've got an emergency in our hands. Our remaining camouflage devices just broke. Uh-oh. What? Failure fight. Afraid we're now completely exposed. Won't be long before more enemy soldiers make their way here. You can thank our illustrious commander tripping over the wiring for that. Gordolf. Are you saying this is my fault? Who fixes delicate devices by spreading the components over the floor? Everyone knows you're supposed to do your restorations in a garage. He's right on that. Oh. We can no longer hope to avoid enemy contact, so we'll need to fight them off as we move. We can ill afford to stay here and exhaust ourselves fighting unending waves of enemies. We're ready to head for Shangyang at a moment's notice. Heck yeah! Now that's more like it. Horsey, Mashu? We know. See you in Shangyang. Just be careful, okay? You too. Yeah, actually she dies on the way there. She doesn't get a cool character moment at all. I actually have no idea what she ends up doing this last bout. I mean, I assume she's gonna stab Qin Shi Huang, but what? Jin Kei has gone off on her own? Not a problem. We got all the butt-kicking power we need right here, pardon my French. Yeah, let's carve a path right through them. Enemy hostiles confirmed. Get ready. Okay, well that's fine. Oh, I haven't talked about it, have I? I watched episode 3 of the new Ruby season, and it's still bad. I don't think I've talked about it. I think I watched it after I recorded yesterday, right? I think so. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch 2 episodes a day until nope, not doing it. One's the most I can do. But I discovered a strategy that makes watching Ruby infinitely more tolerable. The Rooster Teeth player has a playback speed option. Just turn that to 1.25. Works like a charm. Did I use charisma? Yeah. Yeah, just play the later half of the episode like that, and it was a lot better. Like, the animation was obviously a bit, like, weird. It goes fast, obviously, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, because you can't tell if the voice acting is bad or not, if it's just faster. Like, I don't know if they just read the line, like, you know, blankly with no emotion, or if they, you know, put their all into it. And that's Schrodinger's voice acting. Schrodinger's dub. You know, it's not really a dub, it's... Well, I don't know the definition of dub. I think dub means when you, like, translate it to another language and, you know, voice it over again, but... Well, we're gonna call it Schrodinger's dub. And it worked like a charm. It was actually a little more enjoyable. Just a little. Let's do this. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't finish them all off. I think it will because she has 2 attack buffs, but we'll see. Because that crit arts would be nice for a 3rd go. Yeah, I wonder, do they change writers per Ruby season? It just kind of feels like that. Like, the person who was writing this season did not write the last season. Which, as far as I remember, like, everything kind of blurs in my head. Well, wait, was it... I think season 6 and 7 were a bit better than the average, but so far season 8 has been like sleeper tier. I remember for the most part enjoying 4, and 5 had some cool moments, I guess. In my head, I have it that I liked 2 and 4 the most. I don't know if that's true or not. See, the beauty is, I haven't rewatched Ruby, nor will I ever. So I don't have to think of the past. I just have to think of the future of the episodes I'm obligated to watch. Obligated because they give me something to talk about in Grand Order. It's just, look, it's tradition at this point. When I first started recording Grand Order in Camelot, I had just watched Ruby for the first time. So I had something to talk, and now, you know, it just keeps going. Plus it helps that around the time Ruby comes out, there's a new in-game chapter every time. Because they come out like at the end of the year into the beginning of the year. Which, you know, we've had... When I watched it for the first time, Camelot, then Babylonia, then... Well, there's delays there, but Anastasia / Shimosa. I forget if I talked about it in Shimosa or not. I think it was Anastasia. The timeline-wise, it would have been Salem, but anyway. And then this year we have Sin. And next year we have Lost about 5. Then the year after that, we have lost about 5.5. The near future revealed itself before him. He could feel the looming threat of war draw near, slowly but surely, from beyond the peaceful city. He could see the palace's defenses growing more robust by the day. As HorseyEatYou, even without visiting Ipong Palace for himself, his predictive calculations warned him of the inevitable conflict to come, and its inescapable result. HorseyEatYou was going to fall. Even knowing that, you'd still tell me not to take up arms. Defending HorseyEatYou is no longer your job. But the real problem was the future that followed. Usually, he could learn small details about futures he saw, even if he couldn't always make sense of them. But now, he couldn't see anything at all, not even a vague fragment of the future possibility. It was as though, several years from now, this very world will no longer even exist. That is how it should be. You. Your ability to see the future has toyed with you for too long. No one should have to carry responsibility for history on their shoulders as you have. They have long since earned their right to lay down that burden. You mourn my fate so deeply, rather the fate of the HorseyEatYou who paved the way for this Liu Bang to follow. My place in the Empire is not one of peace. Seeing the manner in which this body has been optimized for warfare should make that clear. Yes, I was originally designed to be a civil servant. But my ability to see the near future proved to be the most useful in the battlefield. But Qin Huang had only just united all of China. There's still 4 nations in need of being brought to heel. I traveled to Europe, Africa, the New World, every land under the sun, all to make them part of Qin Huang's territory. You never called it America, huh? You must have shed more blood in the course of that conquest than this HorseyEatYou who was known as the hegemon king of Western Chu. I actually like that though. I mean, because he invaded it while the Aztecs were still around, so it's presumably before British colonization, well, and other Spanish, etc. But, I mean, it makes sense given the timeline. Like, when were the Aztecs around? Like, I know they're actually later in modern history than you'd think. Let's just say around the year 1000-ish. I think it was the Mayans who were like more prehistory-ish. Well, you get what I mean. Also, I don't know for sure. I'm just talking here. But here, your conquests were rightly held in the high esteem, and the Empire valued you accordingly. However, in proper human history, your reputation was horrific. Well, that is understandable. It made sense that history would view him as a horrible, bloodthirsty monster. History is the collected recollections of humanity, so it's only natural for them to view an inhuman machine in such terms. If such a device were to be mistaken for human, and its deeds recorded as such, it's no surprise that they would be feared. Not one person in all of proper human history ever truly understood why you did what you did. You're wrong about that, you. Question mark? I know for a fact that there's one person who understood the hegemon king of Western Chu. You're HorseyEatYou. You, the one who just told me of this other version of myself. Surely you must have understood him. Lord HorseyEatYou. Ah, now I see. At long last, he saw I had been overlooking something so terribly obvious. By always casting his gaze to the distant horizon, he missed what was right in front of him. There was another person there in the same time and place as HorseyEatYou. Another who looked human, yet was feared and despised as inhuman. Just as HorseyEatYou was feared and despised for quelling all threats to the Empire, this immortal Zenran must have never known either. Wait, that is Zenran? Either understanding or acceptance. So that is why you have wandered for so long in search of me. How unspeakably tragic. It's all in the past now. It's no more than a fleeting dream. There's no sense looking back. From HorseyEatYou's perspective, she's not one to view with suspicion, but wonder. There's neither fear nor hatred in his gaze. If anything, her way of life is something to aspire to. Something beautiful to behold. But this insight was one only he could have, only because he was not human. To humans with short lives and limited perception, she must have seemed as terrible as a demon king. But as a pair so far removed from humanity, HorseyEatYou and Yu Meiren could find solace with each other. Indeed, each was the other's perfect companion. The Xiangyu in proper human history died, leaving you alone. There's nothing either of us could do. You had a duty to fulfill. I was given eternal life. And yet, with his ability to see the future, Xiangyu must have known what awaited you in his absence. He must have known she would wander for an eternity, and the hardship she would suffer in solitude. I see. Then I must have grieved for you. Oh. When Dapple runs no more, what then can I do? Ah, my you. My you. What will your fate be? I'm assuming Dapple was his horse. That's just my guess. I don't know Chinese history. Or is this history or Chinese mythology? I think this is history. Like, the Three Kingdoms stuff didn't actually happen, right? I might be incorrect on that. But I think maybe? Or at least it's like in the realm of like something like that happened. But that's not what happened. It was that quartz. How many fragments have we collected so far? A lot. Let me tell you, Mashu, a lot. So yeah, next time we begin the climax. We have 3 chapters left. I should hopefully be able to get this done before New Year's. Like, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time with some more Grand Order. I'm gonna go do the Christmas event. Well, one no to the Christmas event because my AP's all dried up. I'll see you guys then. Bye.